Text 5, 10 or 20 to 70499.
Deborah, stop horsing around. Let's play Zebra Bingo. With branded bingo rooms like Fluffy Favourites Bingo, Deal or No Deal Bingo, and Clover Rollover Bingo. And more classic bingo games than you could shake your tail at. There's over £6.5 million in bingo prizes to be won every month on the Bingo Network. Come on, let's play Zebra Bingo.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years.
Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power, what is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux. From conflict to India's crowning glory, I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome to this Wednesday edition of the World Report. Viewers, I'm Arjun Samar Mahindran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. We got big news coming in for H-1b hopefuls. Now, the countdown to a new job in America, viewers, has just gotten longer. I'll explain why and how. More importantly, exactly. Now, the US State Department's tougher social media checks are causing major delays already. Interviews that were initially set for mid to late December are now being pushed all the way to March. But that's not it, and the embassy is clear. If your appointment has been rescheduled, showing up on your old date will only get you turned away at the main gate. Now, the new rules require applicants and their dependents as well to keep their social media profiles public. That's right. Officers will begin reviewing online activity from the 15th of December to flag security risks. Meanwhile, immigration attorneys say the cancellations have already kicked in. Now, this also adds another layer to the earlier pressure on H-1b program, which included Donald Trump's new $100,000 fee on fresh work visas. Meanwhile, here's my colleague Gauri Dwivedi getting you the very genesis of this row and its implications, which we in fact already see unfurling in India as we get to this broadcast.
Trump administration's latest move, which is yet another effort to block H-1b visas and block those who are most deserving. And yet again, it's actually being done in a manner that is almost symptomatic of Trump 2.0, creating nationalist barriers, all while pushing pro-business rhetoric. Now, what has happened is, after hiking fees, increasing scrutiny, there's yet another layer of uncertainty that is being added. And this time around, LinkedIn accounts of candidates are being screened. Ostensibly, candidates' profiles will be screened and vetted for those, and red flags will be raised for those whom they find have curbed freedom of speech. And anyone or their families found to be curbing the same will not get an H-1b visa. Now, this is the exact same rhetoric that Donald Trump and his administration had pushed against European governments and against big tech by saying that conservative voices are being suppressed, and they want to do the same thing when it comes to H-1b as well. Now, interestingly, viewers, it was the big tech CEOs who were actually most keen to have what they thought was a pro-business American president. And ironically, the latest directive for H-1b candidates and the screening process is going to hit tech companies the most, simply because this is where the pipeline will actually shrink and will have an impact on their talent pool as well. For India, of course, it's going to be extremely significant. 70% of H-1b visas come for Indians, and this kind of additional screening, which too much of discretionary powers being handed out to superiors, will lead to Indians being impacted as well. And in fact, 70% H-1Bs from India will be impacted.
Now we shift our focus across the northern border to Canada, viewers, where the number of study permits issued by capital Ottawa to international students from India has fallen sharply in the third quarter of this year. How sharply? Well, the figure has dropped by more than half, or 50% compared to the same period last year in 2024. Now, according to the data, Indian students accounted for around 24,000 permits between July and September this year. Compare this to last year, where they comprised more than 52,000, or nearly 30% of overall student visas issued during the same period. We now shift our focus back to Southeast Asia, where Pakistan's political tensions have spiked again overnight, and this time as a sit-in by former Prime Minister Imran Khan's sisters turned into a violent crackdown right outside Adiala jail, Rawalpindi's Adiala jail, where the former Prime Minister is incarcerated. Cops used water cannons to break sit-ins by Imran Khan's sisters in Rawalpindi, as I was mentioning, right outside Adiala jail, where Imran Khan is in fact imprisoned. At around 1:30 a.m., the military-led government reportedly cut power in the area, plunging the jail road, which is right outside the jail premises, the jail gate, into total darkness. Now by 2 a.m., just half an hour after cutting power, Punjab police allegedly moved in, firing a high-pressure water cannon at protesters. Now, the targeted demonstrators also included Khan's sisters. In fact, a purported video, as you see there on your screens right now, from the very scene and the very time around 2 a.m. local time, shows Uzma Khan knocked to the ground by the sheer force of this water cannon. Meanwhile, Khan's sisters alleged that they were simply trying to meet their brother after authorities blocked their entry, claiming that they arrived after hours. Shift our focus to the land down under, where Australia's world first social media ban has in fact taken effect, legally barring children under 16 years from holding accounts with social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Snapchat, TikTok, X, YouTube and Twitch. Now, the platforms face fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars if they fail to take reasonable steps to remove the accounts or to implement this new ruling. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's X has already said it would comply with Australia's world-leading crackdown banning under-16s from social media. Meanwhile, Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, also Threads, was the first tech giant to react, beginning to exude suspected young children from last week. Here's a report.
In a world ruled by the scroll, Australia slams the door shut for millions of young users. A global first, social media ban for teenagers. Australia has become the only country in the world to shut down social media access for all children under 16. Millions of Australian children are now being told to put the phone down, not by their parents, but by the law. From TikTok to Instagram, YouTube to Snapchat, 10 major platforms now forced to block millions of young users or face fines of nearly $50 million.
We've said very clearly that this won't be perfect, but it's the right thing to do for society to express its views, its judgment about what is appropriate. And there is no doubt, when we look at the rise in mental health issues faced by young people, when we look at the social harm which has been caused by social media, that we want kids to have the opportunity to enjoy their childhood, and we want parents to be empowered as well to have that discussion.
While the Australian government says it's a necessary intervention, a move to protect kids from addictive algorithms, online bullying, and the mental health toll of constant screen time, critics warn that the ban is risky, pushing teens to VPNs, shadow platforms, and even darker corners of the internet.
We just grown up with this our entire lives, and now it's just being taken away from us all of a sudden, we wouldn't even know what else we could do. Even if all these kids got banned from these platforms and there was no way they could get on it, they're just going to move to a different platform and it's going to be worse. And they're just going to keep jumping to different platforms. So the whole ban doesn't make sense if it's not going to work.
For the first time in over a decade, a generation raised online is being forced to step offline. Will it protect young minds or create a new digital divide? Around the world, governments are watching closely, wondering whether Australia could spark a global shift. A bold experiment now begins. The question is, will it work? Bureau Report, NDTV.
Shifting our focus to Eurasia now, where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has reaffirmed his refusal to cede any territory to Russia. Now, Zelensky continues to show resistance, to say the least, against US pressure for a compromise, or any compromise for that matter, with Vladimir Putin and Russia. Now, the president has emphasized not having the moral right to cede any land. Meanwhile, Ukraine and its European partners will soon present the US with refined documents on a peace plan. Kyiv is under concerted pressure from the White House to secure a quick peace deal. However, the nation is pushing back on a US-backed plan proposed only last month that many see as favorable to Moscow. Zelensky has said new components of the deal, hashed out with the British, French and the German leaders in London, are ready for US review. Ukrainian officials, meanwhile, are also seeking strong security guarantees from all the partners, the US and the European partners, in the event of Russia attacking again. Meanwhile, Zelensky has also said he is ready to hold a wartime election within the next 3 months, or a 90-day window. The statement comes after appearing to bow down to pressure from Donald Trump, who has in fact been pressurizing Ukraine to hold a national vote. We've been seeing Donald Trump make this repeated demand again and again. One demand which has in fact also been coming in from Trump even before he was elected. He took assumed office on the 20th of January this year. Now, Zelensky has said that he was prepared to organize a wartime vote as long as he gets the permission from his parliament and also foreign allies. During a Western media interview, President Donald Trump took a hard line with Volodymyr Zelensky as well as his counterparts in Europe. Now, Trump pressed Zelensky to accept the US proposal that Ukraine cede territory to Russia, arguing that Moscow retains the upper hand still in its nearly 4-year-long invasion. Trump also had some harsh words for his European counterparts, saying that their nations are quote-unquote decaying and that the leaders are not doing a good job. Ukrainian leaders, on the other hand, are working to ensure that any ceasefire is backed by solid security guarantees. Meanwhile, Trump has not given explicit guarantees in public, at least till now. Listen in.
They're not doing a good job. Europe is not doing a good job in many ways. They're not doing a good job.
I want to ask
They
you
talk
about
too
that.
much, and they're not producing. We're talking about Ukraine. They talk, but they don't produce. And the war just keeps going on and on.
Stay with the US, where a judge has cleared the Justice Department to release documents in the criminal case against Jeffrey Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, Maxwell is in prison for sex trafficking underage girls with the deceased financier. The district judge allowed to unseal the records under a new law requiring the release of all unclassified files related to investigations, both of Epstein and Maxwell. Now, these record viewers are eagerly sought by both President Donald Trump's political opponents and members of his own Republican base as well. Over in Asia, a fire ripped through an office building in Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, on Tuesday, killing at least 22 people, including a pregnant woman as well. Central Jakarta Police Chief revealed that the fire, which broke out around midday, is believed to have been started on the first floor of the building before spreading to other floors. Hundreds of personnel and 29 fire tenders, or fire trucks as they are called, were deployed to contain the blaze. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. We get you some reactions.
Akhir angka korban adalah 22, di mana 7 orang laki-laki dan 15 orang perempuan. Saat ini dari Damkar sedang merapikan alat-alat dan nanti setelah semua rapi, maka petugas kepolisian akan mulai melakukan olah TKP awal bersama Lapor juga sudah hadir untuk mencari sebab dari kejadian kebakaran ini.
Stay with Asia, where Japan's Defense Minister Shinjiro Koizumi has said that their fighter jets did not aim radar at Chinese jets during Saturday's close encounter incidents. Now, the statement comes in response to a Chinese media report disputing Japan's account on the event. Prior to these incidents, viewers, a Chinese Navy vessel had notified Japanese counterparts of air drills without giving any details. Koizumi said regardless of the notification, it was natural for Japan to scramble jets as part of its air defense measures. Over in South America, Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado is due to receive the Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo. In fact, she is attending the ceremony in open defiance of a decade-long travel ban imposed by Venezuelan authorities that has been in place for over a decade, as I was just mentioning. Meanwhile, Machado has spent more than a year in hiding to avoid arrest by the Maduro regime. However, her current whereabouts are unknown and it is unclear whether she will be able to attend the event at all. Now, when she won the prize in October, Machado dedicated it in part to US President Donald Trump, who has in fact said he himself deserved the honor. 25 children and 92 companions were evacuated by the WHO, or the World Health Organization, to countries. Now, these countries include Italy, Romania, Norway and Belgium. The day before their departure, the patients were held at a field hospital built by the WHO in conjunction with the Palestine Red Crescent. The WHO says more than 18,500 patients still require medical evacuations for advanced treatments, which are unavailable in Gaza still. We get you more on this.
We are still advocating for more corridors for patients to be evacuated abroad and get their advanced treatments, particularly because there are still 16,000 patients in urgent need for better treatment abroad.
We shift our focus to Portugal now, viewers, which is bracing for a general strike on Thursday. The first one, in fact, it's seen in 12 long years. Portugal's two main unions have called the strike to protest against a new labour package announced by the centre-right governments. Now, Montenegro's government says the measures proposed add flexibility to the job market. Meanwhile, its opponents say, or allege rather, it's an attack on the workers' rights, on the very rights of the hard-working worker unions of Portugal. Now, among some of the most contested elements is a limit on how long breastfeeding women can actually claim a flexible work schedule. Meanwhile, we get you the voices of a union leader listening.
Vamos ter, de facto, uma grande mobilização de trabalhadores, uma grande greve geral, seja no setor privado, seja no setor público, e vai ser uma grande demonstração de força do coletivo dos trabalhadores e de exigência da rejeição deste pacote laboral.
And with that, it's time we step into a quick break, viewers. Much more lined up on the other side. Needless to say, don't you go anywhere.
Nó ini jelek jelek. Sudah dah harus waktu أنا أخواتي بيموتوا من الجوع ما نصير تغذية كمان. بيغوا بالليل بيبكوا من الجوع يعني ما بنحسن يعني نعمل لهم أكل. أيام كتل ولم فلا من قهر فون جميع فون يا شغل.
For Khaltoon, Tariq and Basira, seeing their siblings suffer from malnutrition is heartbreaking. They are among the millions of children caught in a global hunger crisis that continues to get worse. Across the world, families are struggling to find food because of conflict, displacement, and extreme weather. We urgently need your help right now to fight acute hunger and malnutrition. Please search Save the Children or visit savethechildren.org.uk to give £5 a month. Your £5 a month can help us provide life-saving food and medical care and help families with lasting solutions to beat hunger. Help children like Khartoum so they don't have to watch their siblings suffer. No child should go hungry, so please donate today. Search Save the Children or visit savethechildren.org.uk to give £5 a month. Thank you.
So I've just got Sun Life's guaranteed over 50 plan. Super easy, no medical questions. I finally have the confidence to devote myself to my craft.
Woodwork?
Wood carving. I even made this.
Really?
With Sun Life, there's a guaranteed cash payout. But this is one less thing you'll have to spend it on. Isn't that right, Splinter? Huh? Come up, boy. Up.
Search Sun Life Plan today and get a free gift card.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. Stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
Let's play Win a Million. How many chances do you get to win £1 million every week?
5 chances. Final answer.
Congratulations! And now it's your chance to be a millionaire. Choose your 5 lucky numbers at winamillion.com and get 5 chances to win £1 million every week. Play now from just 50p or enter for free by post at winamillion.com.
Welcome back, viewers. Now on to updates from the world of business and technology, where trade negotiations between India and Oman are now complete. Now, the upcoming CEPA trade pact could very well open a gateway to the Middle East for India, or should I say another gateway to the Middle East. My colleague, meanwhile, Vishal Vivek, gets you an exclusive with Oman's ambassador to India, Issa Saleh Abdullah Saleh Al-Shabani. Take a look.
To start off, I wanted to ask you about the all-important CEPA that we've, both the sides have been talking about for a while now. How long until we have that final, ratification?
Well, I think is based on the latest comments that the negotiation has already been concluded. I think it's now for the different stakeholders in Oman and both in India to finalize the final steps out of it. And hopefully we will be hearing some good news very soon. Right.
And as far as I have read India remains an important economic partner for Oman. What specific, investment opportunities would Oman be looking at giving some Indian companies? Do you have anything in mind?
Well, I think it has been a very historic relationship between the two countries. I think Oman has the resources that would attract some of the Indian investments. Oman also a gateway either to the GCC market, to the Middle East, and to the wider world.
Talking about gateways, do you see Suhar region emerging as the next gateway that India could be looking at when it comes to the Middle East?
Well, of course, Suhar is not only a logistic hub, it is strategically located. It is very closest, or one of the closest points to most of the Indian businesses. And Oman enjoys friendly relationship with most countries of the world, and also historic relations with many others.
Talking about the strategic location of Suhar, it's right at the tip of Oman, right? So it's also, it could, are you of the opinion that it could play a big role in anti-piracy operations? It's already playing a big role, but do you think India can also, collaborate with Oman on some level so that the anti-piracy, because piracy is a big menace in that region. Do you think Suhar can play a big role in that?
Well, Oman in general has been playing a big role in that, and Indian Navy as well has been known worldwide for operations in the Indian Ocean. And I think the two countries, we have seen it, is collaborating in order to make sure that there is safe maritime routes for world trade across the region.
Well, from one big collaboration to another. What am I talking about? Well, Amazon plans to invest more than $35 billion in India by 2030. Now, to expand operations and strengthen its AI capabilities. The US giant is the latest global tech firm to deepen its presence in the world's most populous country. Major US tech firms have already poured in billions of dollars into India this year alone. The investments underscore India's emergence as a strategic hub for deep tech growth. NVIDIA Corporation has built location verification technology that could now identify which country its chips are in fact being operated in. Now, this new move comes amid growing concerns among US lawmakers over the smuggling of NVIDIA's artificial intelligence chips. The verification feature was demonstrated privately in recent months, but not yet been released. The software was built to allow customers to track the chip's overall computing performance. Well, India's innings had a few early wobbles, viewer, but Abhishek and Tilak steadied things before Hardik Pandya, or Kung Fu Pandya as it's called, changed the tone entirely or completely. His late surge, capped by his 100 T20I 6, dragged India to a fighting 175. And once the bowlers got the ball, well, it was one-way traffic. Arshdeep struck early with the trademark wobble same. Akshar and Varun, well, they squeezed the very life out of the middle overs, and Bumrah, of course, joined an elite list with his 100 T20 international wicket. South Africa, meanwhile, they never recovered, bundled out for their lowest ever total. Take a look at this report.
Shubman Gill, back from neck injury, lasted just 2 balls. The T20 vice-captain fell trying to go up and over, an early jolt for India.
He's not timed it at all.
On a 2-paced Baramati pitch where the ball stopped on the bat, Suryakumar Yadav scratched his way to 12 off 11, never really in. With the surface spitting movement, Abhishek Sharma still took the aerial route, launching Marco Jansen for a fearless 6. But Jansen hit back. Abhishek miscued, and the big South African pouched his second of 3 stunning catches of the night. India 48 for 3.
Marco Jansen, take one.
Tilak Varma opened his shoulders with a monster hit that thudded into the stadium roof, but after a promising start, he fell for 26.
Goes straight into the hands of Marco Jansen. You can get your eye in.
Hardik Pandya walked in and immediately changed the mood. 2 big sixes to announce India's intent, a clear signal at number 6. With wickets tumbling, Hardik dragged India past 150, power hitting, keeping the innings alive. Pandya smashed his 100th T20 International 6, roaring back with a blistering 25-ball 50. His late assault lifted India to 175 for 6. Chasing 176, South Africa collapsed in a hurry. Arshdeep Singh made full use of early movement, wobble seam, sharp lengths, removing Dicock and Stubbs. 2 wickets in 2 overs, the tourists were 3 down inside the power play. Akshar Patel struck first ball, knocking over captain Aiden Markram.
No clue whatsoever.
Varun Chakravarti piled on the pressure with a superb 2 for 19.
He goes about it.
Jasprit Bumrah entered the elite club with his 100th T20I wicket, removing Deval Brevis, only the second Indian to reach the milestone. Only 5 players have 100 wickets across all 3 formats.
Yeah, just told him that, yes, welcome. Congratulated him and told him that welcome to the club.
A ruthless demolition by India. Pandya Power once again rolled South Africa for 74, their lowest T20I total, sealing a 101-run win for India.
So India winning by a massive margin. They win by 101 and they go ahead.
Updates from the world of entertainment, viewers, where American actor Jeremy O. Harris was released from custody in Japan on Monday. after his arrest on suspicion of attempting to smuggle drugs into the country. He was detained on the 16th of November at Naha Airport, where a customs officer found 0.78 grams or almost 0.8 grams of crystal meth in his bag. Local prosecutors, meanwhile, have declined to confirm whether Harris had in fact been charged with a crime or not. And there were butterflies, there were wigs, and of course, how can we miss out the sparkles? They were a common theme on the red carpet to celebrate the 18th season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Yes, that's correct. 14 queens or kings will be competing for the title of America's next drag superstar, and a $200,000 serious crash prize at that. Now, several contestants were on the red carpet in New York already.
This is an amazing season. I want everybody to understand there's a lot of new faces, there's a lot of new talent. What I do enjoy about the job is that I get the opportunity to be a part of launching so much queer talent into the world and watch every girl go out and be superstars.
Well, with that, viewers, it's a wrap on this Wednesday edition of the World Report. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Just going for a break.
Oh, hey, just a minute.
I'm just going for a break. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
But life still goes on.
Just sorted my guaranteed over 50 plan with Sun Life. There's even a cash payout. Nice one. It's given me the confidence to look after myself. I've started learning jiu-jitsu.
Come on! Search Sun Life Plan today and get a free gift card.
We should have left centuries ago.
It's okay. I'm with the AA.
Because the AA has more expert patrols in more places than anyone else, you'll be back on the road in no time. That's why millions of drivers choose the AA. Join today.
Buy now with up to 12 months to pay. Sofas and smartphones, cozy duvet. 12 months to slay with VeryPay.
Shop now, plus get up to 12 months to pay with VeryPay. And pay no interest. Search VeryPay. Very, let's make it sparkle.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
Hello and welcome to this Wednesday edition of the World Report. Viewers, I'm Arjun Samar Mahindran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. We got big news coming in for Indians for H-1b hopefuls. Now, the countdown to a new job in America, viewers, has just gotten longer. I'll explain why and how. More importantly, exactly. Now, the US State Department's tougher social media checks are causing major delays already. Interviews that were initially set for mid to late December are now being pushed all the way to March. But that's not it, and the embassy is clear. If your appointment has been rescheduled, showing up on your old date will only get you turned away at the main gate. Now, the new rules require applicants and their dependents as well to keep their social media profiles public. That's right. Officers will begin reviewing online activity from the 15th of December to flag security risks. Meanwhile, immigration attorneys say the cancellations have already kicked in. Now, this also adds another layer to the earlier pressure on H-1b program, which included Donald Trump's new $100,000 fee on fresh work visas. Meanwhile, here's my colleague Gauri Dwivedi getting you the very genesis of this row and its implications, which we in fact already see unfurling in India as we get to this broadcast.
Trump administration's latest move, which is yet another effort to block H-1b visas and block those who are most deserving. And yet again, it's actually being done in a manner that is almost symptomatic of Trump 2.0, creating nationalist barriers, all while pushing pro-business rhetoric. Now, what has happened is, after hiking fees, increasing scrutiny, there's yet another layer of uncertainty that is being added. And this time around, LinkedIn accounts of candidates are being screened. Ostensibly, candidates' profiles will be screened and vetted for those, and red flags will be raised for those whom they find have curbed freedom of speech. And anyone or their families found to be curbing the same will not get an H-1b visa. Now, this is the exact same rhetoric that Donald Trump and his administration had pushed against European governments and against big tech by saying that conservative voices are being suppressed, and they want to do the same thing when it comes to H-1b as well. Now, interestingly, viewers, it was the big tech CEOs who were actually most keen to have what they thought was a pro-business American president. And ironically, the latest directive for H-1b candidates and the screening process is going to hit tech companies the most, simply because this is where the pipeline will actually shrink and will have an impact on their talent pool as well. For India, of course, it's going to be extremely significant. 70% of H-1b visas come for Indians, and this kind of additional screening, which too much of discretionary powers being handed out to superiors, will lead to Indians being impacted as well. And in fact, 70% H-1Bs from India will be impacted.
Now we shift our focus across the northern border to Canada, viewers, where the number